Hello everyone, and welcome to the second devlog of Bottled Sky, the 2D space adventure game I'm developing in Unity. In this video, I'll be building on what we did last video, and talking more about movement and controls. This time I'll be focusing on the use of camera and its relationship to the movement of the shuttle. So getting right into it, I'm going to attach the main camera to the shuttle. Off we go and... Just kidding, there's a whole lot more to it than that. So getting right into it, I'm going to start with a demonstration of how the camera will move with regard to the shuttle's rotation. So the green dot that you're seeing is the direction that the shuttle is aiming for based on my cursor. And the shuttle is the red blob that you see in the center. I actually found a bug, and that is that I forgot to account for the aspect ratio. You can see how it doesn't quite point at the cursor. So if I'm in the top right corner, it's supposed to be not quite perfectly diagonal, but that's what it is. Okay, that bug is now fixed. We can see that everywhere we go around, it clearly follows the cursor. Okay, so here is the demonstration setup. The blue square that you see chasing the green circle is the center of what the camera view would be. And the important feature is the camera will follow the green dot and not exactly follow the rotation of the shuttle. For example, while it looks like it's going around in the circle, if we were to jump quickly to the side, it ignores all of that rotation and just goes straight through. The reason why I want it to work like this, rather than just having the camera snap to the shuttle and always follow the shuttle, is for the benefit that you'll always be able to see more of what's in front of you, and that quickly shifts whenever you try to turn around quickly. This is especially useful if you're traveling quickly in one direction. You'll be able to see obstacles coming from in front of you, and what's behind you is less important. The time-lapse in the background is footage of the short stream I did on the 15th of June, where I reproduced this behavior for the camera in the main scene. You'll see the results later, but for now I want to show a snippet of the short-term plan of features. This is a Trello board I have set up to help organize the features and tasks to be done, and the order in which to do them. You can see I've started working on the 0.1 build of the game, and to me this means creating the minimum viable product. The really basic core gameplay features that will provide a skeleton structure of the game that we can put more meat onto later. For example, the first thing we did was the basic movement, which included things like rotation, acceleration, deceleration. And currently we're working on the 0.12 version, which includes camera controls. So following ahead of the shuttle, looking further ahead at higher speeds, and zooming in and out based on shuttle speed. Those are all the things that I will be doing for the camera. And many more things, including a temporary background, some asteroids which will be objects we can interact with in the world, drilling, which is how we will interact with the asteroids, inventory, some items, crafting, storage somewhere, and we'll work on a basic enemy, and the shuttle should also have some health when we're fighting the enemy. When version 0.1 is done, that is when I should be able to tell if the game is fun or not. However, this is a unique situation because I've already built another version of the game that I have extensively tested and determined for myself that it is fun. I would like to take this approach to development anyway because I didn't have any hub storage, but everything else you see here up until 0.2 was in the first version of Bottled Sky. After making the minimum viable product, the next step is version 0.2. To polish the small amount of gameplay you have, which includes making images, animations, shaders, particle effects, sound effects, and maybe even a piece of music. This might be considered a vertical slice of the game, but the amount of content is still rather small. At this point, I should avoid spending time on adding new gameplay content. The result doesn't need to be the final look and feel of the game, but it needs to be something I can proudly show to early testers and players for at least 5 minutes each. Early testing is important to gauge how fun the game is for others, and here is where you'll find out if you're the only one who likes what you made. Again, this is a unique situation because the first version of Bottled Sky already had a bunch of testers with lots of feedback, but I'd like to follow through with this structured approach anyway. I will gradually reveal more of the plan as I progress through what I've shown you, but for now, let's get back to the time lapse. So by the end of this short stream, I was able to have the camera look ahead of the shuttle, no matter where it is facing. The white circle you see is there as a reference to help me see if the shuttle is aiming exactly towards the center of the screen. Before we move on to the next part of camera motion, you might have noticed something strange, and that is that the shuttle looks like it's moving instead of the camera. This is because the background is just a solid color and we have no frame of reference to see whether the shuttle is actually moving or not. I'm going to skip ahead to the next Trello card, which is to create a temporary background. Done. Now we can tell the difference between camera movement and shuttle movement. Now back to camera motion. The next two tasks are to have the camera position itself even further ahead of the shuttle and zoom out if it is moving quickly. Both of these will help players react to obstacles even sooner. It's important to make sure that all of this camera motion is slow and has easing, so as not to disorient the player. We can use faster motion for dramatic effect if we want it later. This was all completed in the second short stream you're watching in the time lapse. So that concludes camera motion features for now. There will be more later, but they will be related to features that don't exist yet in the game. By the end of the stream, I started looking at the next task, asteroids. These are objects that will be abundant in the world, and the player can interact with them to collect resources that feed into systems such as crafting. I wanted to start by just getting a ball that the shuttle can bump into using Unity's built-in physics system. However, I ran into a bug when adding and removing colliders to the shuttle. I've got the background is gone. It's stuck. Why is it stuck? I am not certain as to why it is stuck. Let's get rid of this. Oh, I was just thrown away very fast. I fumbled around for 30 minutes, unsure of what was causing this, before deciding to end the stream, as I figured it was no longer a good viewing experience. Of course, I fixed it soon after ending the stream. Next up, there are two easy tasks that I can do very quickly, and that is to give the asteroid some health, and then destroy the asteroid if the health drops to 0. We don't have any gameplay method of reducing the asteroid's health yet, so I will create a simple temporary control to reduce the asteroid's health when needed. I will remove this control later when I create the drilling feature. It didn't take long before I had the asteroid set up with a health value and a way of reducing it. As you can see, the asteroid drops to 0 health, but nothing happens just yet. I'll do just a little more coding and... now the asteroid disappears as soon as its health reaches 0. Both of those tasks are now done. That leaves us with one last thing, the entity spawning system. But I have a problem. What does this mean? What is an entity, and when and where should I spawn them? When I wrote this task, I knew what I wanted, but I didn't stop and think about the specifics. I know this isn't a small task, and it will actually be a very important feature that greatly affects exploration and difficulty in the game. A task that needs more clarification is a sure sign that it should have its own card with its own checklist of features. Subscribe and ring the bell to stay tuned for the next devlog where I explain what this system does and how it works. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. I'll see you later.